Baby, let's stay home tonight. We can put a couple records on. The thing that caught my eye about Jen was right away I just recognized she had a really beautiful smile, and you could just tell that she had a lot of joy in her life, and from her smile it just like really attracted me to her, and I just saw a person so full of life and joy. In a straight line.
Jake, there are a lot. I thought he was really funny. God, this is awkward. And smart, and then he just really loved the Lord. He seemed really cool and just really easy to talk to.
Baby, let's stay home tonight.
I think I knew when I loved Jen. I think I knew a lot sooner, but for a while I kind of suppressed that feeling. I was a little fearful of feeling that way in a certain sense. I was a little worried of like what it meant and the consequences, but I knew I loved her fairly quickly after my time in Florida, and I even told her that kind of jokingly in a conversation. She asked me kind of how I felt, and it really hit me for the first time how I did feel, and it hit me that I had been suppressing that feeling for a while, and I finally got up the nerve to confront my own feelings about how I felt, and really the truth that I did love her.
It was in December. He was visiting Florida, and he just really wanted to get to know my family and me, getting to know me more as an extension of my family. So I think it was last Wednesday he was here. We were at the beach, and I told him I loved him. So that's when I knew.
Home tonight. Baby, let's stay home.
Our first date, I took her on a motorcycle ride, and it was at the end of November, so we were freezing our faces off, and we were dying because it was so cold. And after we had gotten lunch at Francesco's, we got these really good sandwiches, and later I took her to a really nice restaurant kind of overlooking the town, Montebelluna. And that was where I just kind of told her more how I felt and how much I liked her and how much I wanted to be with her. But yeah, our first date, it was freezing. So yeah,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we went on a bike ride in Italy. It was like freezing. On my first date, November 29th, we went on a bike ride, and then he took me to this fancy restaurant, and he pretty much just like told me his intentions about everything. But yeah, we went on a bike ride, and he took me to a bunch of spots. She's recording too. A bunch of spots like around Italy, just like memories that we had and stuff. So.
Home tonight.
probably one of the most memorable or kind of comical looking back memories I have with Jen is actually on our first date. I'd been looking forward to it for a while and trying to plan it and make it cool. And so on the bike ride, we rode about 15 minutes from our house, and we stop at a coffee shop, and we get coffee, and we're talking and having a good time, and maybe like 45 minutes after, I forgot that I had left my keys in my motorcycle on, and I run outside, and I'm like freaking out thinking that the battery's died, and I tried to start it, and it doesn't start, and we're there for like 20 minutes, like freaking out. Jen's laughing her head off. I'm just like so upset, ruined the first date, and I call the guy to come out to, jumpstart it. And the moment he tries to see if it works, it starts. And I'm just looking like a fool, and Jen's like cracking up, and so that was pretty funny. But yeah.
Okay, so I was on a missions trip when I first went to Italy, and that's where I actually met him, and we were on a trampoline, and I'm like jumping up and down, and it was cool because you could jump from the second floor, like down from like this barn, so we were doing all these like crazy tricks and stuff, and me being the smart person that I am, I'm like, I can do a toe touch and like skinny jeans, so I like go for the toe touch, and my pants completely like rip in half, like in front of him. And it was so embarrassing, but like after, like we laugh about it and we joke about it, but at the moment it was like so embarrassing. And I asked him, like, hey, did you see that my pants ripped? And he's like, no. And then until like later, he told me that he saw that, so that was embarrassing and fun. Was the question embarrassing or fun? I can't remember.
Put a couple records on.
I would like to have 5 kids, or 5. And the first one, I'd like it to be a boy, just because, I think it'd be cool having the boy as the leader of the other kids and taking care of the other brothers and sisters.
3.5 and a boy. What?
In our own thing.
They are a Hazel, but when she cries, they turn really light green, and when the sun hits them, they're kind of dark blue.
Stay home tonight.
Okay, they are hazel, they're brown, but they have flickers of green in the inside.
Still don't. Everything will be.
Right now, I feel like the Lord's calling me to be in some form of pastoral ministry, whether that be starting my own church eventually, or even coming alongside of a new work, a new church plant. But right now, yeah, I feel like the Lord's really been preparing me, even kind of out of my own comfort zone, into what He really has planned, and I see how that's been working out, that eventually or potentially starting a new thing, a new church.
Italy. On to Bologna right now, but maybe some part of Italy that hasn't been reached with the gospel yet, to like start another church or co-lead with someone else.
Cause baby, let's stay home tonight.
Go ahead.
I have a feeling I will, because Jen will already be sleeping in till like 10 or 11 and taking naps. But yeah, I'll probably fall asleep first.
I'm probably gonna fall asleep first, August 6th.
I would have to say Jen, only because I can't ever really stay mad at her. Like, she just does this thing where she says she's sorry, and just with that face and her smile, I could never stay mad at her, so she always wins.
Oh my gosh, we actually both lose because we don't like fighting.
Say that again?
No winners there. We actually both lose because we don't like fighting, so there's no winners. What?
And still don't. Everything.
Probably the few reasons why I love Jen is just the person she is, and the person that she has helped me to become. She loves the Lord, and her love for God just makes me want to love Him more. Just how she looks at life is probably one of the main reasons why I love her, because she tries to find beauty in everything, even the tough situations, which for me isn't very beautiful sometimes. So the reason I love her is just because she makes me a better person, by being who she is, the funny, full of life, energetic, compassionate person she is.
Camera's close. I love Jake because of the way he loves the Lord. He just makes me see and just understand who God is in like a different way, just a different perspective of how I understand. He's very kind, he's very loving and compassionate, and he's all the things I kind of want to be, like as a Christian and just as a person. So yeah, he just really inspires me. So I mean, those are and he's cute, so that helps.
I can keep you warm inside, baby.
It was a Wednesday night after church. A bunch of us after church went to this restaurant, got some hamburgers, and we came back and watched a movie. We actually watched Harry Potter. I can't remember which Harry Potter was. We were watching Harry Potter, and after the movie finished, we were on the couch, we were just talking. And in that moment, I just felt that it was the perfect time to ask her to be my wife and to marry me. But it was very spontaneous. I had already been planning different ways, but in that moment, in our conversation, and just finally being with her, because she had only arrived like 3 or 4 days to Italy from Florida, I just couldn't wait any longer.
We were watching Harry Potter, and it was the third day I was there. It was a Wednesday. I can't remember the date, but I was still jet lagged, and we finished watching Harry Potter. And so he's like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. He comes back. He's like, just kind of reiterating. We had talked about, like, marriage and that we loved each other, so I thought he was just reiterating, like, these things that he told me. So I was like, Jen, like, I really, really love you. And I'm like, yeah, Jake, I know I love you too. He's like, and like, I want to marry you. And I'm like, yeah, I know you want to marry me. We talked about this. And he's like, no, I really want to marry you. Will you marry me? And I'm like, of course, Jake, we already talked about this. We talked about it in Florida. Because it was like, we had to have this really, like, deep conversation because he's a missionary and what that meant for me. So, I'm like, yeah, of course. And he just keeps asking me. I'm like, yeah. And then he pulls out the ring and he's like, will you marry me? And I was like, oh. And then I was, like, quiet for, like, 2 minutes, like, realizing the gravity of what was happening. Because I was still jet lagged and I didn't know what was happening. But I said yes, and I was, like, freaking out. I was like, oh, but what about this and this? Like, I don't know. I was just, like, just thinking about everything because the students hadn't come yet for the Bible college semester. But, yeah, so it was, like, 1 a.m. and we finished watching Harry Potter. That's how I got proposed to in Italy.
Don't even have to put clothes on. I can keep you warm.
With no hesitation.
Doing our own thing, never seem to find time. We've been going down.